Hello! In this video, we will cover the basics on how to use Mac Automator. Let's get started. If you're not familiar with Automator, it's a tool for Mac that automates repetitive tasks by creating workflows. You can use Automator to modify multiple files, archive them, and more. First, I'll launch Automator using the Spotlight menu. I'll press Command plus space, then search for Automator, select it, and hit Enter. When you open Automator or create a new document, you will see a prompt to select the type of document you want to create. There are 8 different types available, and you can create workflows using any of them. However, since this is an introductory basic training, we will focus only on one option, which is the workflow document. This type of document opens in Automator, and you need to use Automator to run it. To create a workflow in Automator, click the workflow icon and select Choose. The main window has 2 sections. On the left side, there's a library of actions, the building blocks of a workflow. On the right side, you can see your current workflow document. To create a workflow, we will need to drag actions from the left side to the right side. Now let's create a sample workflow that selects an image file, resizes it, and saves it as a new copy. This can be useful if you need to upload images to a website that doesn't accept full-size images, so you'd want to create smaller versions first. We will start by selecting the Files and Folders category. The very first action is Ask for Finder items. At the bottom, you'll find a description of what this action will do, including its inputs and outputs. If you don't see that description, there's a button that can display it. A lot of the work in Automator involves searching for the right actions. You can drag and drop this action into your workflow or double-click it to add it. After adding it, you'll see options that you can fill in. For instance, you can decide where the file dialog will open. By default, it starts on the desktop. You can also specify whether to select files, folders, or both, and whether to allow multiple selections. For now, I'll stick to selecting one type of file. Before proceeding, I'll save this workflow. I'll click on File, then Save, and choose the location. I'll save it on the desktop and name it Test. And please don't forget to click Save to ensure that we are saving our work. You only need to do this once in the process. Now let's test it. It's important to evaluate your workflows at each step. In this case, we're just asking for Finder items without doing anything else. I'll hit the Run button here, and it will prompt me to select a file. I'll choose an image file and then click Choose. You'll see that the workflow has completed successfully, indicated by a green checkmark. Clicking on the results will show me the selected file, confirming that this part of the workflow works properly. Moving on, we want to create a copy of the selected file. I could search for the copy action, but I find it easier to seek actions as needed. If I select Copy, I see that this action specifies items at a given location, duplicating files or folders. Duplicating seems to be the right option since we don't need to define a specific location. We wanted to create an exact duplicate of the file in its current location. To do this, I'll drag and drop it. You may notice a small link here. The outcome of this action affects the next step. This should be a straightforward process where I can select a file and duplicate it. Let's go ahead and try it. I will click on Run, select the file, click Choose, and I will select OK when the system asks for permission to access files on my desktop. Now you can see that a copy has been created. So I now have a duplicate of the original file. Everything looks good so far. Now let's resize the images. The resizing option probably won't be located under Files and Folders. Now let's search for resizing options. We might not find it labeled directly as resize, but we can see there are 2 different Scale Images actions. If I search specifically for Scale, I will find even more options. One of them is called Scale Images. This action resizes the specified images, which is exactly what we need. I can drag it over to our workspace. Once I do this, a prompt will appear asking if I want to modify the current file. Since I don't want to change the original file, I will choose to create a copy. But since I already have duplicates, I will select Don't Add. Next, we will scale the images. The tool will allow us to choose either a specific size or a percentage. Let's select a specific size and set the width to 640 pixels. The height will automatically adjust based on this width. The original file will be duplicated, and the duplicate will be scaled to create a new image file. I am going to run this action now. After selecting the appropriate files, we can check the results. Let's take a look at the newly created file. Once the automation runs successfully, the newly created file will appear on the desktop, as we indicated when creating the workflow. As you can see, we have the duplicated and resized images displayed on the screen. It is important to note that we must click on the corresponding workflow icon each time we intend to utilize this workflow. In this instance, we have designated the name Test. However, you can select any name that best suits your preferences. Now that we understand the basics of using an Automator, it's up to you to decide how this tool can assist you with organization, save time, or handle much of the manual work you are currently doing. Feel free to experiment with it to uncover new ways this tool can be beneficial to you. This concludes our video. Thank you for watching.